In the summer of 2023, Real Madrid welcomed a young Turkish wonder kid named Arda Guler, signed with the promise of becoming Toni Kroos' heir.
It's pretty special.
He looks very special, Gab. That left foot is incredible, really, really lethal. He's not ready yet, but like Vinicius wasn't ready or Rodrigo wasn't really ready when they moved.
Endrick isn't ready?
Endrick isn't ready, exactly. But yeah, it's an amazing talent that other clubs like Barcelona, for example, were really keen on signing as well. So I think well done, because it's actually like a decent fee. I think it's 20 million euros.
At just 18 years of age, he had it all vision beyond his years. Intelligence to create danger, a thunderous long-range shot, and the courage to step up in big games. Those gifts, combined with the looming retirement of Kroos, brought him to the Santiago Bernabeu.
Hoy damos la bienvenida como nuevo jugador del Real Madrid a Arda Guler.
Under Carlo Ancelotti, his first season was almost invisible, just 12 matches. His second campaign offered more, with 6 goals and 11 assists, enough to prove to everyone that yes, he belonged in Madrid, even if he wasn't yet the protagonist. Now, under Xabi Alonso, everything has changed. Arda Guler has become the conductor of the orchestra.
Sí, Arda es de esos jugadores que tiene que estar cerca del balón. Es muy especial porque mientras más toques, mejor va a jugar él como individuo y más va a apoyar al equipo.
The tempo, the rhythm, the very heartbeat of Real Madrid flows through him. Every move, every attack, every burst of imagination starts at his boots.
Pass to Guler. Feeding Mbappe, drops his shoulder.
He isn't just a promise anymore, he is the architect of Los Blancos. And then there's Kylian Mbappe, the Pichichi, the star who, despite a disastrous Real Madrid side last season, scored 44 goals across all competitions, including 31 in LaLiga alone. The so-called signing of the decade. Found himself trapped in Ancelotti's chaos, lost in tactical confusion, and locked in ego battles with Vinicius and Bellingham. At times, it looked like the club was ready to implode. But even in that storm, one thing was never in doubt: Mbappe was the best player on the pitch every single time he pulled on the white shirt.
He visto 20 minutos de Mbappe muy buenos. Creo que Mbappe va a marcar una época con el Madrid. Creo que está despertando, creo que está creyéndoselo de verdad y eso me motiva mucho. Por lo tanto, le damos la bienvenida al barco de Mbappe a todos aquellos que quieren ir subiéndose poco a poco, que es mejor hacerlo ahora porque si no van a quedar un poco retrasados.
Now, under Alonso, Mbappe's brilliance has been multiplied. No longer shackled, no longer dragged into chaos, he has found his perfect partner.
Mbappe!
Together with Arda Guler, the young maestro, the French superstar is destroying defences with ruthless consistency. One the architect, the other the executioner. One creates, the other finishes. Both have become the leaders Real Madrid desperately needed. This duo is not just performing, they are dominating. Every game, every touch, every goal feels like a warning to the rest of Spain.
Tramini won the ball back. Here's Mbappe.
Real Madrid finally has balance, finally has chemistry, and finally has two players operating at the peak of their powers at the same time. And make no mistake, with Mbappe and Arda Guler side by side, this Real Madrid will not just compete. This Real Madrid duo will shut down LaLiga. It finally feels like Arda Guler has come of age in a Real Madrid shirt. The young Turk has gone from being a bit part rotation option to a nailed-on starter, and the difference came down to one simple change: the man in charge.
Te quería preguntar por los chicos, no solo Franco, sino también Arda, Endrick, que la temporada pasada estaban bajo una filosofía, digamos, de que tenían que chupar banquillo. Si tú vas a modificar algo en este sentido.
Son jugadores que después de un año les ha venido el proceso de adaptación al Madrid, pues todo lleva su tiempo, incluso a Luka. Yo recuerdo su primer año en el Madrid, pues que fue de menos a más. Y por el caso de Arda, de Endrick, de estos chicos jóvenes que dan un paso tan grande, es un proceso natural. Y este segundo año seguro que van a ir entrando poco a poco más. Otros jugadores que están en esa fase también van a ayudar. Los chicos del Castilla que están viniendo también están aportando mucho. O sea que es un proceso natural.
Carlo Ancelotti will always be a legend, one of the best managers the game has ever seen, a figure who gave Madrid nights that will never be forgotten. But last season it was obvious he was running out of ideas. His methods felt tired, and even the dressing room sensed the need for something new. Enter Xabi Alonso. The Spaniard has been a breath of fresh air, not only for the fans who were desperate for change, but for the players themselves. Aurelien Tchouameni already admitted how happy he is playing under Alonso, and he is not alone. The shift in energy has been clear from day one. Even during the tough months under Ancelotti, Guler never complained publicly. He kept his head down, he respected the hierarchy, and he showed maturity beyond his age. Asked about his limited role, he simply said, "Of course I'd like to play every match, but there's no problem." Those words sum up his attitude: patient, humble, but hungry. Now, with Alonso at the helm, that patience is paying off. Arda has started all 4 La Liga games this season, a massive step up compared to last year, when he was only trusted from the start in just over a third of the league fixtures. It's still early days, both for Alonso's reign and for Arda's rise, but one thing is clear: his place in the 11 feels untouchable right now, even with Jude Bellingham edging closer to his comeback. The question isn't about whether Guler should step aside, it's about how Alonso finds a way to keep them both on the pitch. That, in itself, is proof of how important the young maestro has become. For now, the dream is real. Guler is playing every match in white, dictating the tempo, and proving with every touch that Xabi Alonso is the manager who has truly unleashed him. Xabi Alonso inherited a Real Madrid side that lacked a clear tactical identity under Carlo Ancelotti, and his mission has been to instill the structure and principles that made his Bayer Leverkusen team so feared. At Leverkusen, the heart of his system was Florian Wirtz, a roaming number 10 who could dictate tempo, create from anywhere, and still arrive in the box to finish moves. Of course, Alonso would have loved to bring Wirtz with him to Madrid, but the truth is he already has his own version in Arda Guler. The young Turk, once just a rotation piece, has become that do-it-all attacking midfielder who stitches the system together. We've already seen Alonso experiment with him in different roles. Against Juventus, he was used as an inverted winger in a 3-4-3, floating inside to link play. But the Dortmund match and La Liga first 4 games told the bigger story. Guler partnered Aurelien Tchouameni in a double pivot and completely controlled the rhythm, dropping deep, breaking rivals' press, and then carrying Madrid up the pitch. He looked every inch the engine Alonso wanted. This is exactly the role Alonso's system demands. Guler is not just a playmaker who racks up passes, he is the player who can absorb pressure, turn out of tight spaces, and feed the final third with precision. In many ways, he is Madrid's Wirtz, the player who unlocks both structure and creativity at the same time.
El balón para Fran García. Taconazo de Vini que levanta los soles en el público, lo que ha hecho Arda Guler, ese control, ese regate, cómo deja de cara de nuevo para Valverde, qué talento tiene el turco.
What makes him so vital is how he complements the other midfielders. Jude Bellingham and Federico Valverde are at their best when surging into the box, breaking lines with late runs or unleashing powerful shots from the edge of the area.
Luego tiene buena llegada y Arda en la base te da buen pie, tiene buen control, sabe juntarse a los centrales, sabe atraer a los otros medios.
Tchouameni thrives as the shield, anchoring the team in the defensive phase. None of them truly fit the deep-lying tempo-setting profile. Guler does. By taking on responsibility in the build-up, he frees Bellingham to attack space like a second striker and Valverde to crash the right-hand channel without worrying about dictating tempo. We've already seen glimpses of Alonso's overload and isolate principle in the Club World Cup, and La Liga's opening weeks. Guler is the player that makes those rotations smooth.
That's brilliant from Arda Guler to get away from Cambiasso. Arda Guler across the 6-yard box.
Arda Guler is not just another young talent, he is the tactical key that unlocks Xabi Alonso's system. Alonso's Madrid does not rely on endless crosses, but with Guler, Mbappe and Vini up front, suddenly those options become deadly. Against Dortmund, Guler provided 2 assists with whipped deliveries, almost identical to the kind Florian Wirtz once produced for Alonso at Leverkusen.
Arda Guler.
What makes him so special is his constant movement. He is always available, dropping into full-back or pivot zones to receive, turning in tight spaces, and orchestrating play with a maturity far beyond his age. On the half-turn, he looks effortless. His control smooth, his shielding flawless, and his awareness sharp. He positions himself on the blind side of defenders, opens passing lanes, and executes third-man patterns like a seasoned veteran. He's not flashy for the sake of it, but when needed he uses feints, shoulder drops and clever directional touches to escape pressure. His creativity is as versatile as his passing quick 1-2s in tight spaces, line-breaking balls with disguise, and even trivialists that echo the magic of Luka Modric. In fact, it is no coincidence that Modric himself wanted Guler to inherit the number 10 shirt. In an era where modern football has all but written off the role of the classic number 10, Arda Guler rises as a reminder that some crafts never truly die. That space between the lines, often dismissed as a luxury in today's systems dominated by rigid midfields and false nines, has found a new guardian in the young Turkish maestro. His place in Real Madrid's setup is no accident. When he first arrived at the Bernabeu, many saw him as the natural heir to Mesut Ozil, another artist who once ruled that same patch of grass. The German lit up Madrid between 2010 and 2013 with impossible passes that lifted the crowd to its feet. It was Isco and James Rodriguez who carried the flame, until the role was eventually sacrificed in favour of deeper midfield pivots. Jude Bellingham briefly reclaimed that spot in 2023/24, but his all-action, box-crashing profile made him more of an infiltrator than a true enganche. He attacked the area like a second striker, while Guler occupies that space with an elegance and natural rhythm that feels innate. In a Madrid redefining its attacking identity under Xabi Alonso, it is Guler who now dictates the tempo. The modern number 10 must be more than just a spark of genius. It demands tactical intelligence, precision, and a rare sense of timing. Guler embodies all of this. With an astonishing 89.8% pass completion rate, he is among the most reliable creators in Europe, ranking 4th in accuracy across the top 5 leagues. More telling, though, are his outputs. 3.3 chances created per game, the highest of any in his role, and 2.22 key passes per match. These are not just numbers, they are the fingerprints of a player transforming Alonso's vision into his own score. At first, Alonso experimented by deploying him deeper, almost as a conductor starting from midfield, but soon it became clear, limiting Guler to that role was like tying the hands of an artist. Pushed closer to goal, his influence exploded. A goal and an assist in his first 3 games were only the surface of his contribution. His presence between the lines gave Madrid the creativity they had been missing. His best displays have arrived when Madrid have faced compact, stubborn defences. Against Osasuna, against Mallorca, he became the lockpicker, requesting the ball under pressure, finding the angles others could not see, and injecting rhythm when the team needed it most. Some goals may have slipped away, but his ability to create for those around him never faltered. Xabi Alonso has already found that his natural creativity is wasted in deeper zones. When Guler plays closer to goal, he becomes the difference maker. 2 goals in LaLiga already, one against Mallorca and another against Real Sociedad.
Espalda de Gustondo. Mbappe por afuera. Ganó Kylian. Sube el peligro. Kylian al medio para Guler. ¡Gol! ¡Gol! Del Real Madrid. Lo confeccionaron entre el ardiente Mbappe y Arda Guler.
Plus an assist for Kylian Mbappe against Oviedo prove his direct impact. Their link-up is already frightening. Mbappe returned the favour with a sublime pass, a taste of what this partnership can become.
Y se arma más una especie de doble 9 de Guedes.
Veremos qué sucede. Y no puede, continúa Mbappe, la saca para Guler.
Oh, sí. And that leads us to the most terrifying part of the story. Because if Guler is the brain of this Madrid, the man who dictates and creates, then standing next to him is the most explosive forward on the planet. A French superstar who is hitting a prime no one thought possible. Kylian Mbappe is not just in form, he is redefining dominance in La Liga. While Madrid win, Mbappe explodes. The Frenchman has become exactly what many expected, the best player in the squad, probably in the league, and quite possibly in the world. His 44 goals last season didn't bring him close to the Ballon d'Or, but 4 games into this new campaign, he looks unstoppable, fast, sharp, decisive, and commanding. Nobody dares question his authority now.
Este chaval tiene madera de número 1.
Last year, in a chaotic Madrid side, there was only one shining light: Kylian Mbappe. His transfer shattered the market, arriving as the superstar who was supposed to make Madrid untouchable. But reality was harsh.
Es un equipo lleno de estrellas, pero a mí me gusta mucho Mbappé. A mí me encanta Mbappé. Y me imagino este Madrid con Mbappé y creo que este Madrid va a marcar una.
He endured the worst scoring start of his career, failed to make the difference in El Clásico at the Bernabeu, and even missed crucial penalties against Liverpool and Athletic Bilbao. Yet his greatness never allowed him to stay down for long. He rose again, ending the season with 44 goals. And now, under Xabi Alonso, he is the undisputed face of La Liga's opening week's 4 goals in 4 matches, already top of the MVP race. He spoke about that difficult adaptation period earlier this year. "I was never shy, but when you arrive at a team like Real Madrid, a team that already wins, you must come with humility. I couldn't just walk in and demand the ball. With time, I knew I'd give my best games and grow in importance." Those words reflect how he approached his first months. With patience, waiting for his moment. That moment is now. Little by little, he has gone from being one more star to the star. His influence and his personality have placed him above both Vinicius and Bellingham. The Brazilian, once Madrid's poster boy, now often finds himself on the shadows of Mbappe. And Bellingham, recovering from shoulder surgery, faces the uncertainty of how he will fit into Alonso's new system. Insiders at Valdebebas say Mbappe is more comfortable than ever, embracing his status as the clear leader of this team. Sharing the spotlight with Vinicius was one of the reasons his first year felt heavy. Alonso has made things simple. Mbappe is the priority. 4 goals and an assist so far barely tell the full story.
Kylian's playing up front. He really can make something happen by himself, and that's why I love him so much, no matter what position he's in. That's why, for me, is the best in the world. Kiki.
The key is how he carries Madrid on his shoulders, how he commands every attack, and how he has grown into a true team player under Xabi. Today alone, he could have added 2 more assists to Arda Guler, if not for the Turks' disallowed goal. And these weren't just simple passes, but world-class plays. His current form is terrifying. He looks leaner, sharper, and more connected than ever. This is peak Mbappe, the player who has turned La Liga into his stage. And with Guler at his side, the duo is starting to look unstoppable. Now, let's look at how the Frenchman has evolved under Xabi Alonso. Xabi Alonso's Real Madrid feels like the perfect system for Kylian Mbappe. Under Carlo Ancelotti, Madrid often looked chaotic, too direct, too dependent on moments of individual brilliance.
Es un 9 más, es un delantero más dinámico, no es posicional, no es de área, no son sus características, ¿no? Yo creo que ahí podemos tener rotaciones, tener no jugadores fijos. Yo creo que se pueden automatizar ciertas ideas, ciertas sensaciones dentro de sus calidades individuales, pero claro que no es un 9 referencia a Kylian. Pero es un 9 que mete muchos goles.
With Alonso, everything has changed. The Spaniard demands control, fluidity, and balance. The team shifts from side to side, stretching the opposition, suffocating them with possession, and waiting for the right opening. And right at the heart of this new approach is Mbappe. His opening penalty against Osasuna wasn't just an individual highlight, it was the proof that he has bought into Alonso's collective plan. Then came the double against Oviedo, showing that positional freedom is still his deadliest weapon. And against Real Sociedad, his goal and assist painted the picture of a forward who finally understands what it means to be a team player in Madrid. Alonso himself has said it. "I feel like he wants more." You can tell from day one. I don't know if it's the number 10 shirt, but it's noticeable. That hunger is the biggest difference. Last season, Mbappe struggled with trophies and rhythm. This season, he looks like a man ready to rewrite his entire legacy. He's no longer just a striker waiting for service. Alonso has expanded his role, linking play, dropping deep to orchestrate, even helping defensively. But when the game opens up, when Madrid break through the lines, Mbappe becomes the most terrifying forward alive. His pace, his strength, his finishing, they are all weapons Alonso knows how to use. As a striker, Mbappe is devastating. He can pin centre-backs, hold the ball, and release teammates like Arda Guler or Valverde bursting forward. As a winger, he is pure chaos explosive dribbles, 1-versus-1 destruction, forcing defenders to double up on him, which only creates more space for Madrid's attack. And then there's his finishing, cold, clinical, unpredictable. Sometimes he shapes his body to curl into the far post but snaps it near instead. Other times he shoots through defenders' legs, using them as a screen.
Gets the return!
These disguised finishes are his signature. Goalkeepers know it's coming, but they can't stop it. Tactically, Mbappe thrives on the blind side of defenders. He lurks where they can't see both him and the ball, timing his run so perfectly that by the time they turn, he's already gone. Add in his double movements feints, stop-start runs that leave markers dizzy, and he becomes unplayable inside the box. Sometimes he darts to the back post, other times he sneaks to the near post, always one step ahead. And if the ball's carried wide, he drifts into the space vacated at the top of the box for a lethal cutback. It's not just instinct, it's mastery. Mbappe's speed forces every opponent to make an impossible choice. Hold a high line and risk him running in behind, or drop deep and gift Madrid acres of space between the lines. Either way, Madrid win. What's changed with Alonso is that Mbappe isn't just Madrid's finisher, he is Madrid's system. The Frenchman is finally free, finally trusted, and finally playing at the peak of his powers. And with Arda Guler feeding him the ball, the rest of La Liga should be terrified. In tactical terms, the link between Arda Guler and Kylian Mbappe is less about numbers and more about profiles. Alonso's Real Madrid is built on control, circulation, and sudden acceleration. And both players fit into that framework in complementary ways. Guler operates as the metronome. His natural instinct is to occupy half spaces, receive under pressure, and dictate angles of progression. He's constantly searching for vertical passing lanes, not to finish the action himself, but to unlock it for the player ahead. Mbappe is the outlet. His game is about dynamic movement, stretching the pitch and punishing defensive lines the moment they hesitate. He thrives when there is structure behind him, but freedom in front, and Alonso's shape allows exactly that. The synergy lies in timing. Guler delays just enough to attract pressure, creating the perfect window for Mbappe to accelerate. In return, Mbappe's movement constantly forces defenders to drop, opening new pockets for Guler to orchestrate. Alonso's slow, fast rhythm becomes devastating through this duo. The Turk provides the slow, recycling phase, keeping Madrid stable. The Frenchman provides the fast, the explosion that turns sterile possession into penetration. What's notable is how this removes predictability from Madrid's attack. With Vinicius, the threat was usually one-dimensional, wide isolation. With Guler and Mbappe, the danger can originate centrally, on the left or through transitional runs. Defensively, they even help each other. Mbappe's presence pins fullbacks deep, reducing the pressure zones around Guler. Meanwhile, Guler's ball security allows Madrid to sustain higher lines, ensuring Mbappe is never far from the penalty box. This isn't a case of two stars coexisting, but of two profiles optimizing each other. Without Mbappe's runs, Guler's vision loses its cutting edge. Without Guler's supply, Mbappe risks being isolated and reduced to chasing long balls. Alonso has essentially engineered a dual mechanism, one brain, one weapon. The brain, Guler, sees the geometry. The weapon, Mbappe, delivers the execution. Together, they transform Madrid from a team reliant on individual bursts into a side capable of systematic dismantling. That is why analysts see this partnership not as a temporary spark, but as the tactical axis of a new era.